The guest we have on today, he's a man that grew up in a small mountainous village in Italy. He only came to Australia in 2015 and to pursue his ambition in fitness. And I think it was only 3 years later in 2018, he won the WA Bodybuilding Championship. And only a year later, I think that's 4 years after arriving in Western Australia, you competed in South Korea in the World Championships and you won.
Correct. Yes.
Welcome, buddy.
Thank you, Wayne.
Yeah. So what an achievement that is.
Oh yeah, that's been an outstanding experience. I mean, there was the dream, there was the plan, but you never imagined that everything's going to fall into place that way.
That quick?
Yeah.
Or did you expect it to be that quick, or?
Not really, actually. I just went with the flow. I would say it's a passion, it's a lifestyle. So that's what I love to do, and I don't want to stop, and I'm enjoying every single step of the journey.
I bet. Listen, the reason why I started podcast is not so much the destination of where people get to from all different professions. I'm really interested in the journey, like the roots and the sort of anchors that turned you into what you are today. So what makes a guy that grows up in a little village in Italy get into fitness? Was it something that happened at school where you're a skinny kid and got bullied, or?
Well, not really. I've always been I would say, good genetics. So it's never been about aesthetics. My first principle has always been health. What happened is that I've noticed around me a lot of people that I love, passed away or going into, let's say, problems like health problems, getting sick, and just spend the last period of their lives going from bed to hospital, and then to a chair, and then to bed again, and I said, that's not the way I want to end up. I used to, in 2000, you said 2015, just a year prior to that, I used to work in a bank, and so a totally different lifestyle.
Right.
Just me, clients, computer, and there was a lot of stress. And I've seen people around me just, getting sick, having all sorts of problems, health problems, and having troubles in private life, and that wasn't the way I wanted to become. So I started researching about health, about how to take care of the only body I have, and my mind as well. So I started reading more. I started, getting into fitness and healthy lifestyle. That's how everything started. And with my grandparents having a lot of problems, health problems, I decided that again, that's not the way I want to end up. So let's do something.
Was it anyone in particular that got sick and that you lost?
Yes, there was my grandfather. He, when you have that role model, he was big. He was muscular. Never entered a gym in his whole life. It was all about, he used to work as in the railway. So he used to drive a train, and he used to in Italy, you were right. I mean, there's a small village where I come from, and we raise our own vegetables. We have
Beautiful.
Gardens, but it's not gardens. It's actually little farms. So they used to have animals. They used to have, do that type of job. As I would say, for my grandfather, it was a second job, but it was all his muscles, and I still remember the hardness of his biceps. It was just crazy, and I said, "Oh, one day I want to be like that." And seeing that person that was really important. It is really important for me still. Just transforming in something that it wasn't not the same thing. I mean, it was like it got smaller. It got unable to walk or to leave.
Was that
normally.
through just natural age, or what did he have? Did he catch something?
No. That was just aging, but in the wrong way. I mean, that was mostly because of the wrong choices he made through his lifestyle.
Right.
They had no knowledge, absolutely no knowledge about nutrition. Again, no exercise. It was just work, hard work, and the body gives up. After years and years of that lifestyle. So he spent his last 15 years going from a bed to a chair to a bed again in the hospital, and then one day he just didn't wake up.
It's hard to see, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well,
So-
I lost someone close to me 4 weeks ago.
Oh wow.
Well, my sister,
Oh, so sorry.
and
about that.
she wasn't old, but I saw in the last few months the sort of pain she went through, and that was a big turning point in my life because before that she was a healthy person. She was actually on the podcast beginning of August.
Wow.
So I sort of came up to the same conclusions as you. I thought I was never scared of death. Don't get me wrong. I'm not scared of death. I'm scared of suffering beforehand.
Yeah.
And so that made me make certain life decisions because you learn big lessons during that time. I was sleeping at the hospital a lot, and I made some decisions regarding health that I made a pledge to her that
Yes.
I would start doing because, for years now, as you get older, I'm 49, but as you get older, you start to get injuries that last a long time,
Yeah.
You're 39?
I'm
Am I
39, yes.
39. So I had a bad back injury for the last 3 years, and I love boxing.
Oh.
But every time I do boxing, the back would just go for weeks. So I decided to join BD Park to try and strengthen my back before I go back to boxing.
Yep.
So that was my turning point. So yours was like your grandfather back then, but then working in a bank, did that sort of destroy? Did that destroy your soul a little bit? I've got friends that worked in a bank, and they're just pulling their hair out at the end.
Yeah, totally. I've seen again. My grandfather was the turning point, definitely. But also the managers and CEO of the bank where I was working, they were not. They had earned a lot of money, but they were stressed. They were sick. They had health issues, anything. I mean, their lives were not the way I wanted mine to be. My dream, my family transferred to me a lot of values, like deep values, like family first, and respect for other people. That wasn't the environment I was living into, and so I decided to quit. Same way I decided to quit, anything else that was unhealthy. So, food-wise, I used to drink alcohol. Not a big, not a big drinker. Never been a big drinker, but I used to, like enjoy some drinks in the weekends with friends, like
Sure.
the average person. Same as cigarettes. I used to smoke.
Really?
Yeah, that was like 10 years ago.
Oh, okay.
And my brain, I don't know if it's something that I have to consider myself lucky or not, but it works in a very simple way. So once I know that something is wrong, I'm not gonna do that again. That's just stop. It's really
Easier said than done, especially with cigarettes, because they become a heavy addiction.
absolutely.
Well, yeah, because I was a smoker,
Oh,
and
really?
I haven't smoked now for years, but as in I haven't bought any packet of cigarettes or anything. But it was probably one of the hard things to do. I actually took it up because I loved writing, and when I moved out on my own in Sydney in a tiny apartment, I just thought it was the thing that writers do. But yeah, thank God I don't do that. I don't do that anymore. It
Sorry.
couldn't have been easy for you though.
Well, I have to say that it depends. It depends on the point of view.
Yeah.
If you see that as you depriving yourself of something, some pleasure, that's really hard to give up.
Right.
But if you see like setting yourself free from an addiction, that's a lot better. That's a
Oh,
lot
okay.
better
So it's
point of
how
view.
you view
Yeah.
how you view the addiction.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's interesting to know.
Honestly, I didn't like the taste. I didn't like the smell.
I don't think anyone likes the taste really.
Absolutely true. Yeah.
It just becomes an addiction, at the
Yeah.
end of the day. So you started to turn your life around.
Yes.
And how old were you then?
That was exactly, as I said, like around 10 years ago. I still have pictures of my body transformation since 2010. That was probably the lowest point.
Have you got those?
Yeah, sure.
Can I grab them off you?
Yeah, of course.
Just to see the progression. So the audience that are actually looking at the videos,
Absolutely.
it'd be nice to have that reference,
Yeah.
And was it a big difference?
Oh, yeah. It looks like a different person.
Really?
Yeah, everything was, I had no interest again in aesthetics. That's not how I started. But then, I fell in love with bodybuilding and training regularly. I found in bodybuilding and weightlifting a way to, let's say, shape my body on one side and to keep to bring my body to its maximum potential. That was my intention. So I said, we have one life, one opportunity here. It's only, it's not going to happen twice.
Well done.
So you better do your best in this life. So that was my goal. And that was what drove me to the world title in 2019. And man, I want to keep going. I don't want to stop.
Yeah.
So that was the plan this year. But again, the situation is a bit crazy at the moment.
It is.
So unfortunately, I couldn't make it for the world titles just because we can't travel.
Yeah.
But definitely, as soon as possible, as soon as the borders will be open again,
sure,
that's going to be the goal.
So you were making the difference in Italy,
yes,
during that time. So the big decision there, probably the biggest decision you've made, is to move overseas, away from family. Have you got a lot of family still there?
Oh yeah. My whole family. Consider that in Italy, especially older generation, they have like 6-7 brothers, and that's the case for my mom.
Okay.
So I have like 7 uncles and all the cousins and all.
Sure.
It's a big family, of course. And I also have a video of that. The first time I went back from here, it was 2016, and I made a surprise for everyone. I didn't say I'm coming back, and there's a video that's really really touching.
Yeah.
And there's my grandmother there as well in the video. That's been hard to leave everything behind and just move to follow my dreams. But honestly, it's worth it.
Yeah, because I have heard that Italy has the largest population of people over 60, over 70, which is why they got hit so hard with COVID, the COVID-19. So, okay, what was the decision? Like, explain that. Because I went through the same sea change, but not overseas. I actually moved interstate when I was young.
Yeah.
What was the decision? Do you remember that day and reason why you made that decision?
Yeah. Obviously I remember that. And so what happened was, a complete transformation in my mindset. As I said before, health was the principle, and I wanted to strive to my maximum potential, both for my body and my mind. So the more you know, the more you are free, I would say.
Sure.
So I'm in the beginning, coming from such a small town, your mind is restricted to that, the area.
That world is, that's what you've been involved in.
Yes, it's just that. But then you start understanding that, living out of that world is possible. There's something else. There's a lot more out of that little town, And I've never traveled, honestly, before coming here. Yeah, I've traveled around Europe, but never had, huge experiences. You always go with your friends, and in a way, it's like moving part of your house somewhere else.
Yeah.
But what I thought was, okay, we have this opportunity. I have this opportunity to do something in the fitness industry. That's what I want to do. And then I started thinking, okay, is that possible in my country? Probably not. Europe is still going through hard times, and there has to be a place where, that we still have an opportunity to grow, to develop, and to give to the world. I always had a huge respect for my family. I've been adopted when I was like 27 days old.
Really?
Yeah. So it's never been a big trauma for me. Absolutely, I've been so lucky. The most beautiful family ever I could ever desire. But this means for me that I owe something to those people, and I want to give back, like making my family name well known in the world. So I want people to know that those people were loving me. Just they don't. I mean, I wasn't coming from my adopted mom womb, but she loved me like her own child, and it's still like that. And I speak with them every second day, honestly.
Right.
And I'm 39. And yeah,
That's
it's
good.
a bit. Yeah.
That's good.
So yeah, basically, I was looking for a place that could give me the opportunity to get to the top, to reach the top, to reach more people. From my small town, I couldn't talk to the world, honestly. It's like now you, with this amazing setup you have here, you can touch a lot of people, a lot of lives, and you can give, let's say, and add value, a lot of value to those people. And I wanted to do the same. I wanted to share the love I got from them, and I wanted to share my knowledge. As I said, you said it's not easy to do. Okay, this is wrong. This is right. Let's do the right thing. It's never easy. I have that gift in a way. So, and I want to share that with the world. So if something I say or something I do or something I prove can help someone else, I'm happy.
Do you think it came, like you just said, what's important, what you just said is, I wanted to give back to this family that gave me everything.
Yes.
You think that determination has come from that value?
Absolutely. Yes.
So
yes.
that is the strength behind your decisions now.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That's great.
Thank you. Well, honestly, again, sometimes we don't do things because we are afraid to fail or even to succeed. So what happens if you succeed? You have to change something. You're going to be someone else. You're going to be a different person. Break the balance in a way. I'm not afraid anymore. I said, okay, this is the chance I have. I have to give up something to become the person I am today. And that was my old mindset. That was my old lifestyle. In a way, the presence of my family and my friends in there. I used to have a girlfriend in there, and yeah, she didn't move here. So I was here by myself. And after 8 months, we broke up. We still talk to each other.
It's hard, long distance.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Why Australia?
Australia because, well, again, I was researching about the fitness industry, and this country was one of the most well developed in terms of respect for this industry. So the idea of fitness for Australian people is really important. I mean, it's something that it's part of the culture. I've never seen so many people in a gym in here, so many gyms around. In Italy, it's not like that.
Do you think it's because of the weather?
As well. That was part of my decision, honestly.
I bet.
So I wanted to find a place where I could plant that seed in terms of career, in terms of family. I want to, create a family, and I wanted to do that in a safe place. Australia was one of the top of the list, and actually there was a kind of a challenge between Australia and Canada. But then the weather, as you said.
Yeah, it always is from Europe, because I was born in the United Kingdom.
Oh, wow.
And we were deciding out of Canada or Australia, and it was the weather.
Totally.
The weather, I mean, look, Canada's beautiful, but it gets fucking freezing. I remember going to Toronto and it was minus 20. And, you do climatize. People climatize to that. Man, it was just, you couldn't do anything,
Yeah.
Yeah, so I understand. So you came here at what age?
I was 35.
Wow. So it's a big change.
Yeah.
For a 35-year-old to change to another country and pursue fitness,
Yeah.
So tell me what that was like when you first got here. What was the first year? Because your English is incredibly good. Did you
Thanks.
learn English in Italy?
At school.
Oh,
Yeah.
you did it.
The problem in Italy is that you never get a chance to practice. So the major improvement actually happened here. In the beginning, I still remember the guy sitting next to me on a plane from, I think it was Singapore to Perth, and this guy was from Perth. He started talking to me, Wayne, believe me, I couldn't get a word. And I said, "Oh, I'm sure I know English, but I was expecting sounds." It was probably because of the accent and the speed.
Yeah.
But again, I couldn't get him. I said, "Oh man, sorry, slow down. I can't understand what you're saying."
Yeah.
But then, what I actually did in terms of study, obviously, I studied in an English school for 8 weeks. That was the only, the only thing I've done, regarding language. And then my goal was the fitness. So,
Sure.
I came here the 2nd of October 2015. And in January, I was already studying fitness, Cert 3 in fitness, because I wanted to get the qualification
okay.
to work in this
Is that
industry.
hard? Is that hard to do?
Well, it depends. If you like it, if it's your passion, not really. There's still a lot of things to consider, and it's not a job that's based on just the knowledge. There's a lot of practice behind it, a lot of experience you got to get, and you have to be willing to communicate with people,
Sure.
especially if you want to, become a personal trainer. And that was the goal. Yes, you have to practice a lot.
Sure. Sure.
If you like training, I mean, if you train yourself, yeah, that's different. But in that specific school, I had a lot of schoolmates that were just there for the visa. So
Yeah. Sure.
that's hard when it's like that. And yeah,
Did you come over with a bit of cash that you saved up?
I saved up. So as I said, I quit the job at the bank, and I started doing like any other thing. I work in the bar, I work in the restaurant, and yeah. So I try to save up as much as possible, and I came here with just a small luggage to save on the ticket as well.
Yeah.
And I still remember I had only 7 shirts. That was it, and 2 pants.
Wow. Which is all you need, really.
Yeah.
You think about it,
Yeah.
And Australians do talk very fast.
Yes.
Because I used to teach a lot of international students, but they more would come from South America. Because instead of going to America, they can't work and study there because of the visa.
Yeah.
In Australia, you can. So I used to teach a lot of Colombian students, Argentinian, Mexican. And I had to slow down the talk.
Yes.
Consciously, because I know Australians talk English very fast and, with the sound. So but you're sounding more Aussie now than Italian.
I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
You need that slight tang of Italian to sound sexy, Yeah.
That's right.
And that's all part of pulling in the fitness, personal training and stuff like that.
True.
Yeah. So you studied, and did it take long for you to get a job after that?
Okay, so as I said, that was January 2016, and then I got the job basically in August 2017.
Oh, wow. Okay. And that's with studying?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
Yeah. I completed my Cert 4. It was probably April, May, and I got the job probably 2-3 weeks later.
Besides language, what was the hardest thing coming here?
Okay, culture is really, really different. Yeah. As I said, I come from a really small town, maybe less than 1,000 people.
Where?
It's called Abruzzo, and it's in the middle of on the East Coast, in the middle of the boot, let's say.
Oh,
Italy.
Okay.
It's not far from Rome, probably like 70, 80 k's from Rome.
Oh, okay, not too far.
That's not too far. Well, distances is another thing, you have to...
Over there. Oh, yeah.
it's different.
I was in Rome in January.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we just got out before it all started to hit. Yeah.
Lucky, yeah.
But I love history anyway, but I would think you'd say the food. The food was just stunning there.
You know what? I haven't changed my way to feed myself. I mean, I eat whole food, so wherever you go, you can find that. I was shocked because one of my first jobs was a night filler in IGA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so my shift went from 8 p.m. to midnight. It was probably one of the most funny experiences I had in the first period here. So doing different jobs.
Yeah.
And that job showed me a lot about the Australian culture.
Because you're meeting people. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was first thing, it was really strange for me that a store like that was open in the night 24/7.
Yeah.
What do you need to buy at 2 a.m.? But there was people that buying something. And then
Oh, this is IGA leadable.
no, there was the one in Netherlands.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Are they 24 hours as well?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, basically, the first thing I've noticed, there was a really small fresh produce aisle. That was it, and then the rest was all junk food, packed food. That's not even real food. And so I was taking pictures and sending videos to my family. Say, oh look, spaghetti in a can, or I don't know, some strange flavors. And I still think that they are pretty unusual, at least for my culture. And other things like, Alfredo pasta, stuff like that doesn't exist in Italy. Meatballs, spaghetti meatballs, stuff like
Doesn't
that.
exist. Yeah.
Chicken parmigiana. That's not a thing. Absolutely, Parmigiana
really?
it's a vegetarian, I would say, dish in Italy, and it's made with eggplants.
Oh,
So
okay.
It's a totally different.
I think it's the simple dishes that I really liked and that I'm trying to learn how to cook now. I've been watching Marco Pierre White and Gordon Ramsay.
Oh, yeah,
doing
yeah.
the cacio e pepe and the carbonara, and and just the simple dishes. But oh man, they're so tasty. So you got a job at IGA.
Yep.
Now, and did you get it? When was it that you got a job at the gym?
There was actually a couple of jobs later.
Okay.
So I've been working as painter as well.
Oh, okay.
And then in a auto repair mechanic shop.
Oh, okay.
As a driver and cleaner, and that actually I've been doing that for a year and a half. Yeah.
It's great to hear somebody that had a life change at 35, and is able to go and pick up these jobs in order to do what they want to do.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big lesson for people to hear. There's some bigger lessons coming. When was it that you decided to go, I'm going to enter a bodybuilding competition? The WA.
Good question. Oh, well, WA was just a natural consequence of, me coming here. I wanted to reach the top. And I said to myself, if there's a title, a world title for a natural bodybuilder, that has to be mine. I mean, I was born for this, and I believe I put my 200% in this. I'm changing everything. And maybe someone else is trying to do that, but I'm sure nobody's going to do that like I do. So I want to get to the top.
So it's an inbuilt attitude. I've noticed that in athletes, especially in the fighting game, in MMA, boxing. I know a lot of boxers. There's a different attitude that comes with that. And you just, I don't know, I think it's something you're born with. I really do. They've got this instinct, and I think unlike any other sport, and I'm not downing any sports, but with the professional boxers and fighters and bodybuilders, it is a completely different discipline because it's your whole life. And I think bodybuilding is a little more because it affects everything. It's your sleep, diet, training, and on top of that, you have to try and make a living.
Yes.
Which I think is the hardest thing to balance that, right? Am I right?
Yeah.
So what was the first competition?
So there was 2014 actually. As I said, I started researching about health and about the possible ways for me to develop functionally and aesthetically as well, my body and my mind. So I was going from a nutritionist to another, from a personal trainer to the next one, and I was trying to learn. And I was studying on the side, and I was doing different jobs, as I said, restaurants and stuff like that. And I ended up in 2014 with this guy, very nice person. He was a competitor. I think he still competes.
2016.
In 14. Yeah, was
in
just
Italy.
before coming here.
Right. Okay.
And I started with him in May, and I still have the pictures. I can show you the pictures from
Right.
April. That was just before starting with him, and that was May 2014. And he said, like, why don't you compete? Me? Nah, I'm too skinny, and it's not for me. I don't want to step on stage with a little posing trank. I'm not that type of person. And he told me one thing. He said, man, it was a simple sentence, but it triggered something in my mind and said, you got to start from somewhere. And he was right. I mean, I can decide at any moment who I want to become.
Isn't it a good feeling?
Yeah. And I said, that's right. 2 days later, I said, you know what? Let's do it. And that was the beginning of everything.
Wow. So it was that one line that guy said
Yes.
that changed your mind into why not?
Absolutely.
And I can.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was coming from a really, really nice and peaceful childhood where my family gave me everything. I was actually free. And that was I think the biggest gift and the biggest lesson, because my ultimate goal, I think, for everybody should be freedom.
Yeah.
So you want to be able to leave, actually, not doing something for someone else, or you want to be free and follow your passion, because that's the only way you can give your 100% to the world and contribute to make it better. So I was coming from this period in which my genetics, growing up in a small town in Italy where you're the different one, where you see my complexion is my genetics, a percentage of my DNA comes from Africa. So in the 80s, I was born in 1981. There was nobody, not even like little tan like me.
Where you're from? In where you were in Italy?
I was born. Yeah, no. There was nobody else.
Okay.
So I was the adopted like black guy, right? So it created me a few problems when I was probably the primary school, secondary school.
Of course.
Yeah,
Kids.
yeah.
When you're different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my genetics, when I was expressing my physical difference, let's say in genetics, I used to run to do all these games with other kids, and I was always winning. And my mom still remembers that. And
Right.
she told me like 2 days ago, do you remember when other kids didn't want to play with you because they knew that you were gonna win? You were the fastest. I was jumping higher. I was doing everything like that. And I say, yes, I remember, Mom. And I used to feel like guilty for that. So I stopped.
Right.
That kind of killed my competitive spirit. That line from that personal trainer just it sparked it. It made that spirit come alive again.
Wow. And I do know a lot of kids that are better than the other kids purposely try and fail to fit in. And is that what happened?
Yeah.
And it's not until you get a bit older and a bit more wiser you realize these things,
Yeah.
So that line still carries you to today.
Absolutely.
You've got to start from somewhere. And so your first competition, tell me about the training and the psychology that goes in behind that.
Yeah. So what actually made the difference as well was me understanding the bodybuilding world. So the first time I went backstage, I was not as a competitor. That was as a spectator. So I was talking to these guys thinking, they might think that they're the best. They look great. They must feel better than anyone else. But that wasn't the case. That was so nice. There was such a beautiful spirit and atmosphere in the backstage. And I said, that's different. I used to play soccer, and we used to basically look at each other like that's the enemy. I'm gonna kill that guy on the field. That in bodybuilding, it's all about what you've done to get ready for that day.
I think there's a mutual respect because I think everybody knows the training involved just to get to the stage, you know. Except if you're Arnie and you've seen Pumping Iron and how he digs them backstage, you know.
Right.
But so it was a humbling experience for you.
Yes. And then basically from there, the training from May to November, which was the date of my first competition, it's been like a wonderful journey. I mean, I was learning, and I still remember when I first started lifting my 5 kilo dumbbells and doing shoulders, and this guy was trying to teach me how to do that, how to actually feel that in the muscle. You know, there was like something. It wasn't me lifting weights. It was me enjoying the feeling.
Sure.
It wasn't hard. It was actually I was so excited every time before I would, you know, okay, tomorrow, what are we going to do? And then, you know, it was different. It wasn't, why do I have to do this? As a trainer today, that's what I see in a lot of people, unfortunately. So they see training as punishment.
Yeah, but do you know, there's one thing you've said in this podcast, which I think every person, young person, especially young person heading into the world of bodybuilding, you said for you, it was never about the aesthetics. It was about the health.
Yes.
That makes all the difference, because I think when people, you know, in bodybuilding, they see the peak of the mountain of where they want to get to, but they don't see the mountain that they've got to climb.
Yeah.
And it's about aesthetics. So training then becomes a labor-intensive chore that they have to do in order to get there.
Yeah.
And I do think after a while the endorphins kick in and your body wants to go a bit more and more. But I was gonna get to that point. Do you see in your training people that there's a difference there of they want to, it's completely aesthetics.
Yeah.
And then there's guys there that I want to just get healthy. And if the result is looking better, then so be it. You see that when? Straight off?
It's quite rare, honestly. Yeah, but it happens. And that's the people are allowed to, are more passionate, you know, to train. Aesthetics, it's a motivation that comes and goes. You know, like it's like I would like to get, you know, that body. It's like it's different when you think about, okay, I want to buy that dress or buy that car. You just need, you know, the money, you finance it. It's easy, you know, you get it. But to get there, as you said, it takes to climb a whole mountain.
Yeah, it's hard.
If you don't feel the need for something that's more important than aesthetic, you're not going to get there.
Right.
So,
good point to make. So, and do you find that more with the mature age people, or the, you know, that are going there for health?
Well, I think that people need to learn. So I find that type of mindset more with people that have been through injuries, been through some sort of sickness of conditions, and they want to just get rid of, you know, to get rid of that.
Yeah.
And that keeps them going. Aesthetic, as I said, like the first time I joined the gym, I was probably 14 years old, and you know, I had this idea. Okay, I'm going to do this for a month, and I'm going to become the new Arnold. That's never going to happen. Never going to happen. And so you see all these people going around with, you know, protein shakes and all the, you know, like there's a magic pill, or what do you take? What exercise are you doing? Yeah. It takes just time and discipline.
Yeah.
It's consistency that changes everything.
Diet, sleep, and training.
It's a lifestyle.
Yeah. That's good to know. That's good to know.
Yeah.
And so what was the challenge for you? What was the hardest challenge for you in bodybuilding? With in regards to body.
Okay. Well, as I said, the first prep was kind of easy and pretty short, I would say, compared to what I do today. But then the hardest part was, now what? So what happens now? So once you get there, then you're never happy. As an athlete, you always want, you know you can do more.
Of course.
So every time you get, reach something, okay, and what's next? And so the hardest part was actually understanding that first you can't, if you want to grow, if you want to, let's say, get better for the next comp next year, and everything that's going to happen in the future, you have to give up something again. So you can't maintain that condition forever. I mean, you get so lean and dry in a way, let's say, to use bodybuilding words, that it's hard then, 2 days later, you don't look like that.
Yeah.
And you don't have that tan anymore, the oil and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So you're not on stage, and that's really hard psychologically.
Right.
Physically, as I said, probably if you look at this thing from a health point of view and you make that your lifestyle, it's not that hard at all. The hardest part, I would say, is the off season, when you have to eat, and it's a lot of food.
Well, I'll get to that, because I'm wanting to know what your day-to-day, what your day-to-day training will be. So preparing for your first comp was how many weeks?
There was around, well, as I said, it's from May to November. So what's that? Probably
6 months.
Yeah, pretty much.
Is that standard, 6 months before a competition?
Yeah, I would say that's,
wow.
Yeah. This last one took me 7 months.
See, that's what I'm talking about with bodybuilding and discipline. That's not easy, because even as fighters, it's like an 8 to 10 week prep.
Yeah.
2-3 months, like you train hard. Off season, like it depends what sort of athlete you are, but you're competing at the top level now.
Yeah.
So what was the feeling like when you won the first comp? I think it was the WA one, right?
Oh, in here?
Yeah.
2016, I played second, because I was competing. I was kind of naive, but I wanted just to do something. And I wanted to get into the bodybuilding, let's say, industry here in WA. And I was competing in the IFBB Federation, which is the top in the world, the Mr. Olympia, as part of the IFBB, actually. But it's an untested federation. So the guys that were competing there, they were on some sort of enhancing drugs. And I was I was surprised to play second, regardless, of that detail. Let's say it this way. And so I was a bit disappointed, honestly, because it's not just coming here as an immigrant and you do like all sorts of jobs and you pay money to enter a competition, to be part of that federation, a member of the federation, and then you understand that's a waste of money. It's not about the money itself, but it's the principle behind it. It's a sort of, you said respect, which is a really important thing, important part of this whole industry, and that's disrespectful, honestly. So for me, it was a mistake to do that comp. But it's been a great lesson. So from there, I decided to start competing with ICN, which is tested federation. I've been tested 5 times.
I was going to ask you what ICN means, because I know you eventually got your ICN Pro card.
Yes.
So what does ICN stand for? Do you know?
It's I Compete Natural.
Oh, okay.
And it says everything.
Okay, yeah, that does say everything.
Yeah.
Because that was going to be one of my questions is, you see Mr. Olympia, you see those top end guys competing. There has to be drugs involved, yeah?
And nowadays, yes, of course.
Because you can't compete at that level to get that body without some sort of drug, right?
That is true, but don't get me wrong. I still have a lot of respect for those people.
Oh, look, the work still goes in.
Yes,
don't get me wrong.
Absolutely.
The work still goes in. I've got no doubts about that. A friend told me that. He goes, you still have to train.
A lot, yeah.
You still train. But it's nice to know that ICN is a competition now for natural, where you get tested all the time.
Yeah.
So then you can really look at, okay, you can compete against people that are on the same level.
Yes.
Otherwise, it's unfair, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
True. There's still someone, sneaking in sometimes. I don't get the point, if you're not natural.
How do you know, Paolo? Like, come on, look at those quads. How did you get those? They didn't look like that 8 weeks ago.
Well, it's a physique sport, so you can definitely see in someone, it's visual. I mean, you see that.
Yeah.
But again, there's actually it's not only ICN. It's also INBA, for example. There's different federations that are tested nowadays. So if there's guys that want to start this type of experience, there's still choice for that. I wouldn't recommend, honestly, for my principle, I would never damage my body with any enhancing drugs, any type of drugs at all. The point is not winning a competition. It's more about transforming yourself in the person you want to be. If you want to be healthier, if you want to, obviously the look, the aesthetic is going to come.
But you see, like you said, it's your value system you grew up with.
Oh, yeah.
That's what's kept you there,
Yeah.
Like guys that don't have that, you could see going in and performance-enhancing drugs and, I just need to be bigger, better,
Yes.
So I think the value system you were brought up with has helped you in that way, because you don't want to damage your body in any way, especially later in life.
Oh, yeah.
Later in life. So then you got the ICN.
Yes.
What made you go to South Korea?
Yeah. So ICN, again, I was nobody here. Nobody knew me. I was coming from nowhere. And that was a beautiful experience. Those guys were amazing. I mean, they, allowed me to enter that world, and
Which guys?
The president and all the staff members. That again, that's a really nice environment. Even the other competitors were not so nice, and it was kind of easy for me to enter this world in here. And once I got in and I got on stage, that was my first experience. I won my division. I didn't get to the overall, and that as a competitive athlete, no, I can do that. I want to do that. And so the next step was to win the state titles, and that happened in 2018. And then again, as I said, I came here to get to the top. I want the world to know my name. So
well done.
Korea was the first opportunity I had, and it's been amazing. It's been amazing. I was competing for a month, basically, every weekend. And so the first was...
What, in order to get to Korea?
Well, you qualify. The point is, okay, as an amateur, till you get your pro card, you have to... you can just pay to enter a comp. So you enter the state titles, and then even if you don't place, let's say, you still have an opportunity to get to the nationals and maybe place there.
Sure.
But the point is, if someone beat you, I mean, if someone was better than you in WA, that's probably going to beat you again 1 week later.
Yeah, sure.
So my goal was to get to the top in here, so win the state titles. And then as an overall champion, I wanted to go to Melbourne in that case, and then win there. And then from there, go to...
So you had a plan.
Yeah. So, and as I said, there was for the whole month, I did 4 comps in a row. And that was 2019. So the whole month of May. And the last comp was the 1st of June, and it was in Italy. And I competed there as a pro.
Oh, no way.
So, yeah. Again,
what a circle that is.
Yeah.
That must have felt good, yeah?
Absolutely. And for the first time after 4 years, 4 years, my parents were there watching me, in person.
That's
live.
not long. Like your rise in achievement of what you've done is not a long time at the age you started.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you must hear that quite a bit.
That's
I mean,
true.
you came here at 35. It's not like you came here at 20 and then decided, that's it, I'm going to start becoming an athlete. So it must have felt good going back to Italy, and you won there? You placed?
I placed fifth. In that one,
Oh, right.
That was my first pro show. Again, it's been more about the journey.
Yeah.
Simply because it's really hard as in a physique sport, everything has to be on point. As you said, that's right. Training, sleep, the eating. So flying all those hours to get there, it's been actually detrimental, obviously. So I wasn't at my 100%, but I was so happy, honestly, just because I got my pro card in Korea. So actually, I won the overall in here. Then I went to there was Sydney, and again I played second in the nationals, and then I won my division in the world title in Korea, and then I placed fifth in Italy, and it all happened in a month, and then
In a month.
yeah, every weekend I was competing. I was flying here and there.
Jeez.
That's been hard physically, but mentally, man, it was a dream. That's what I want. The way I want to live. As an athlete.
Yeah.
And meeting all sort of people from everywhere. I got a lot of friends, new contacts, and new. I mean, I follow new people on social media, and they follow me, and it's so nice to be like that involved in this environment. That was the dream. 4 years before that, I was in front of a computer, suit and tie.
If that's not something that people want to hear at that time of their life, that they can make a change at any time. And within 4 years, you were flying to enter competitions. That must feel damn bloody good.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I also think it's nice that you haven't won all the time, because I think it's like boxing. If you get defeated, you learn a lot more about that defeat than you do the wins, right?
True.
Of what you could do better next time. Because then you probably went, okay, travel. You've got to factor in the travel. Your body has to go through that. And there's a lot that goes into that. So did that, coming fifth, but in Italy, you're flying back to Italy to compete, which is pretty damn good. So what happened after that?
After that, so the plan was to enjoy a couple of weeks with my family. Actually 3 weeks. And then, because my girlfriend is from Italy as well, so we traveled back.
Verona?
Yes.
Yeah, I've done my research, yeah.
And
but you met her here.
Yes, we met here actually.
Typical.
Yeah, crazy. You travel so far away from home, and then you know. But yeah, the funny part is that in Italy we would never had a chance to meet. Actually, we live so far, and then it's 65 million people in there. It's basically impossible even to meet there. But we met here, and I would say on one side was love at first sight. But what I've seen in that person, again, was something that I was looking for a long time. When you look someone in the eyes and you understand that's a genuine person, someone you can trust, in today's world, it's really hard.
It is.
So, again, I may come from a small town, but I met a lot of people around. So, and it's hard to find someone that, just by the look in their eyes, you understand that's a good person. That's I can
genuine.
Yeah. Because simply because we are so used to people that want to abuse us, in some ways, that
want something from you.
Yeah. So you really.
Where did you meet her?
At the gym,
actually. Of course.
That wasn't hard. And yeah, so yeah, that's been, incredible. I'm a romantic guy.
Bloody Italians. always putting pressure on us Australians, being that romantic Italian guy.
That's part of the tradition, yes. And yeah, so I was looking for that, special story, love story, and that special person. And, when you have those values, the only way to make, something from that is to meet someone that matches those values.
Sure.
And Silvia, my girlfriend, she's perfect.
How long have you been seeing her now?
It's 2 years.
Oh,
now.
okay.
2 years, yeah. That was the 18th of November, so we're going to celebrate actually.
Well done.
The 2 years now.
Well done. All the female listeners, all that are going to be watching it and going to be like, oh no, he's met someone already. There's no hope anymore.
Too late.
2 years goes quick, eh?
Yes.
Yeah. So why not? Tell me a day by day. What would your day in the life of before competition be? Sleep, training, eating. What would that be?
Okay, so when you start, so this year, for example, I've started my off season. Just to give you an idea, when I came back from Italy, there was the travel back from after Korea and the fifth place in Rimini. So there was the 28th of June, and I've started. So that was the beginning of the off season. I'm like a machine. So I'm really strict even in the off season. Obviously, there's a lot of food, but still, you got to eat that every day. There's no going out for pizza or beer or stuff like that. And I started my prep in March, the 16th of March. And as I said before, my comp was the 10th and the 11th of October.
Right.
So
Jeez.
all that time,
that's nuts.
All that time, what I did. So training wise, I was training from in blocks in cycles, 5 or 6 days a week. So let's say I was doing 3 cycles of 6 weeks for 6 days training with weights. On the 7th, I still do my cardio. And then after that, maybe it was 3 months, 5 days a week, that type of thing. My workout changes every 4 to 6 weeks. And I have, when I'm preparing for a comp, I love having my coach with me, which is great. And it's a guy from Queensland.
Did he come to WA?
No. So what happened is that comp I was talking about in Melbourne, that was Sydney, sorry. I was beaten by one of his athletes.
Right.
This guy was peeled. This guy was, I was actually doubting it was natural, honestly. He was shorter than me. Genetically, I would say it's shape, but it's a matter of, it's
That's another gym term, peeled.
Yeah, that's right.
Dry. I've learned dry and peeled. All right.
But incredible. He is, they used to say that competitions are won from the back. And this guy's hamstrings and glutes and, the whole back was just shredded. It was just, you could see the muscle separation, every single fiber. And one of my weakest point is always been hamstrings, not glutes, honestly, but hamstrings. They really take time to come out and show all the details. But this guy was just incredible, and shorter than me. Again, his shape, personally, is not my favorite type of shape. I don't think it's really aesthetic, but overall it was great, amazing. And I said, wow, okay, that's the level I need to reach, and I want to beat this guy. So on the flight, flying back to the WA, I was talking with the president, Sam at Trail of ICN, and I asked her, look, is there anybody you would recommend for me as a coach? I want to step to the next level. I want to do more, because till then I was just doing everything by myself. So learning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so you never had a trainer at all.
Last one was 2014. The guy in Italy. There was that.
God.
And yeah, I have actually to his merit, I had for a period of time a coach from here.
Was that the guy from Jets?
No, it's he was the first gym I joined. That is Snap in the city.
Fitness.
Yeah, Snap Fitness was 2015, leading to 2016. Actually, the first thing I did once, the second day I was here was I joined Snap.
Okay, straight
membership.
away.
Yeah, that was important. So yeah, apart from that experience, I didn't have anybody.
Sure.
And so she said, yeah, there's this guy, Brandon Kempter, and then there's the other guy, Nathan Wallace, I think. You can, search for them on social media. And I said, okay, let's have a look. I was on his page, and I've seen, I know this guy. That was the guy that beat me on the stage in the nationals. I said, no, I want him. So I contacted Brandon and I said, look, I know we can do damage together. So we have to do this. And he was like, man, I know who you are. Let's do it. And that was Actually, there was before I left to go to Italy, and so once I came back in June, the 28th of June, we started working together. So it's been now longer than a year.
So, but you said he's not here.
No.
So you work through the internet?
Yes.
Through Skype?
Yes.
And stuff like that?
Yeah, so I send him basically every week photos and a sort of feedback form. And I mean, if you are a beginner, you definitely need someone
there,
next to you. But in my case specifically, I needed someone to take care of the how can I say,
the tweaks,
the backstage. Yeah. So he's doing all the work. He doesn't have to explain me the exercise, how to do that. But
and the form, or all and the technical aspects of lifting, all of that.
Yeah,
it's just okay. You need to do this for that. And
exactly.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
And and it's nice to have someone telling you, okay, we can adjust this in terms of nutrition. Everything. So yeah, that's been a big advantage. And having Silvia in the backstage during those last comps, it made a big difference.
How?
Well, I'll tell you something funny that happened in Melbourne the first time I was competing in the national titles. So I was backstage, and I usually have my headphones. I love music. My dad is a musician, and I grew up with this kind of I don't know, some kind of thing in my DNA.
Sure.
In a way. So, and I get completely lost when I'm listening to the music. I'm really, into mind space, as well as when I train. If you saw me training, I'm in a different place.
Yeah.
I may look at you, but I don't see you. I'm thinking about something else. Well, anyway, so I was backstage relaxing, listening to my music, and then I said, oh, it's been a long time now. They should call us to get on stage. I took one headphone off, and I heard this guy screaming, "Where have you been? Where are you? Your number, whatever, 65, whatever."
Shit.
I said, "Yeah, what's going on?" I said, "Well, we will call you out with the judges. You can't compete anymore." I said, "What? You're joking?" I mean, I come from WA. I always
After all that training.
Yes, after all that.
Yeah.
And they said, let's see, let me talk with the judges. Let's see what we can do. And then I was just looking at the judges from the backstage, and they were like, "Oh, come. Okay. So, okay, yeah, for this time, you can go." And I stepped on stage, no pumping, no nothing. I did nothing. So, and the best part was that I played second at the nationals after that. So I was not prepared. That was my first experience. And so the difference with Silvia, having Silvia next to me, is that
sort of take you out of that zone.
And now time to eat, time to do this, time to do the pump up, And so and then having someone, in the crowd, when you come from nowhere, and you have someone cheering your name,
it makes a difference.
Yes.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say Silvia would do. She was the one to go to the judges and soft talk them about you coming out. But no, she's like tapping you, going, "Okay, you got to do this, that." And what's the tension like before a comp? It's exciting for the music and the crowd and different energy on stage.
Absolutely. For the first time, I have to say, this year I had so much fun.
It's important.
Yeah, I had a lot. So the first comp was just, I didn't know what to do at all. I was doing my routine. I didn't know how to pose. I didn't know anything. It was just again, it takes time to learn.
Yeah.
But this year, it's been really fun. And you can actually transfer that confidence, that fun. I was enjoying it, everything. You can transfer that to the judges and to the people, the audience. And that was amazing. The tension, obviously, again, as you said before, this type of sport is different because what you show on that day comes from the hard work you've been doing for a year, maybe, So for me, there's some sort of tension, but it's not about, okay, I may forget how to pose. No, that's not like that. It's more about, have I put 100% in?
Right.
Have I done everything I could do?
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm fine.
How did you learn movement? Because I watched Pumping Iron years ago, and he did like ballet lessons and
Yeah.
just to be a bit more supple and movement. How did you learn that?
Well, probably for Arnold at that time, there were not many options. He was going on the magazine, stuff. So,
But now you got the internet.
yeah, you got everything. You can watch
okay.
videos. Yeah. So, as I said before, I have great respect for IFBB pros.
Yeah.
So top on the world, and I think if you want to be the best in something, you have to learn from the best.
Yeah, definitely.
So for me, watching like Ronnie Coleman, Kai Green, I met Kai Green in person.
yeah?
is amazing. It's amazing as a man, as an athlete. I still want to meet Phil Heath. Never got a chance. I think it's the gift. Honestly,
Yeah.
it's one of the best physiques I've ever seen. Like ever in bodybuilding, as well as Flex Wheeler. I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah, of course.
it's probably it's still on my phone. I mean, as a
What Flex?
yeah, as wallpaper. So I'm learning from those guys, Lee Labrada, in terms of posing. There's a lot of guys in the past, in the golden era. Kevin Leveroni, I met him in Italy as well. Again, you can learn a lot from the best, and it's important to practice. Again, it's not about looking at yourself in the mirror. Okay, I look good in this. No, you have to keep doing that,
Sure.
more and more, and it becomes part of you. You move that way. I used to do martial arts for like 7 years.
Oh, okay.
Before that, and it's all about practice. As Arnold said, it's all about reps.
Yeah.
So the more you practice, the better you get in anything in life.
It's like one step at a time,
Yeah.
One step at a time. I think that because I used to write and get paid to write.
Wow.
And people say, "Oh, you've always been that way inclined." I said, "It was one word at a time." Like I wasn't. It was just practice. And I'm still not a good writer, but I'm a lot better than I was 20 years ago, in that sort of way. So listen, let's talk about what people probably wouldn't guess from you. You're a vegan.
Yes, I am.
All right. And you started You Vegan with Silvia.
Yes.
Now, I do know the story behind that, but do you want to tell that? Like, how did you start to distribute the food and why?
That was part of my dream. So as I said before, I always wanted to share my gifts with people. So discipline is one of the thing that I'm proud of, having as a gift. But I know that a lot of people struggle to stick to a diet. So I tried to find the way to give them a tool to do what I do. So you just need to open the box and eat your meal, a healthy meal. So what I've been doing since I met that guy in 2014 was meal prepping. So it's years of practice.
Yeah.
And during this pandemic, me and Silvia had a chance to have enough time to say, okay, well, why not? Why don't we just realize this dream?
Yeah, but even more so, the fact that you lost your jobs.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that's a big thing. You lost your job when COVID shut down. And then you decided to sort of sit there and go, what can we do? And I think that's quite resourceful. And I think also people would like to hear that through a circumstance of a shutdown, when everything feels like you've lost everything.
Yes.
That's when opportunity can strike if you are resourceful enough, yeah? And I think you and Silvia worked that out during that time.
Yes.
Of what you can do.
Absolutely true. What I learned from working in the bank is that behind the crisis, there's an opportunity.
Bloody bankers. Is that how the rich get richer? Yeah.
That's true, actually. So exactly like you said, that during that period, not being a resident, not having any financial support, not having a family here, so we still had to pay rent. We still had to do everything, and again, there was a chance for us to put down in action something that we've been thinking about for a long time. But again, you get so busy, you think you're doing a lot of things. I get this appointment, another client, and this and that. But you're not really working on what you should be working on. So that was the opportunity for us to say, okay, what's important, what matters. So okay, health first. Then we want to realize this dream. So this is the case to do it. And it's funny because the first thing I did, once I realized I couldn't train, and I was preparing for this season, was to drive for 150 Ks around here to find some
I know what you're going to say,
equipment.
because I read that on the SBS interview.
Yes.
Because I think everyone tried. I went to, Osmond Park, all sold out.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, did you get some sort of special treatment because you were in competition, or you had to drive out to get something? Yeah.
Yeah, I was in Osborne Park too. A guy actually tried to sell me just the rack. Said, what can I do with that without the weights? Sorry, but it's not. It's not what I'm looking for. So through a friend, actually, I got into this warehouse in Applecross. And so I said, I need the weights, I need the rack, whatever it costs, right. I don't care. Even if I have to come here with my car and piece by piece, drive back to your car.
Well, it's your living. It's part of your living now. Yeah.
And I was lucky enough to get into that warehouse, and they had a few things, so I bought that. That was the next day. Actually, the same day I bought it. And the next day I was mounting this squat rack in my garage. Right. And with You Vegan, the thing is that, again, being health, my principle, I kept reading. I still read. I love reading and researching about health. And the more I was reading, the more I found animal products to be related to chronic diseases. And again, my experience in IGA, this shock in the difference in culture, they just show me that this farming nowadays puts something that's not even real food on your plate. So many fast foods, restaurants, stuff like that. I mean, we don't have that in Italy. We have fast foods, but
that's why the food tastes so much better there.
Oh, yeah.
It's like some of the Asia. I've traveled a lot in some of the poorer countries. When you have a chicken, they've slaughtered the chicken that day to cook the food.
Yeah.
And it tastes so much better. You may not get as meat because they don't have steroids pumped into the chickens, but that's probably why the food in Italy, because it's all fresh. You know?
True. And again, I think 75 to 80% of what I had as a kid was coming from my grandparents.
Farm.
That was it. So again, there was a natural consequence of my brain saying, okay, that's wrong, let's do the other thing.
Healthy.
Yes.
First. Wow. And I mean, the next big part was, where do you prep the food? Because I know that you searched for an industrial kitchen, right?
Yes.
So then you got pretty serious with you and Silvia.
Yeah, because
was it nice working with her?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. It's been a wonderful period. We still miss that. I shouldn't say this because it's been really hard for a lot of people and for us as well. But we didn't have, again, it's the point of view. So we didn't have a job. What we didn't have was the stress coming from the job, from the pressure of the times.
Yeah.
Being a personal trainer means you have appointments back to back, and then you have your shifts, and then you may go to another different job, because you need money to survive, to pay the bills and everything else. But that keeping yourself so busy, as I said before, keeps you out of what your passion is most of the times. And my passion is to improve others' lives. I mean, I'm happy if someone listening to this, okay, I'm going to create my, whatever company tomorrow. And that was because of something I said.
You'd be surprised. Yeah. You'd be surprised who listens. And, we'll get your contact details at the end, but how, people will reach out, especially if they're from this state.
Yeah.
Dude, you could do a lot better in your Instagram and social media.
Oh, yeah.
You could, especially coming from your profession, there's a lot of people making a lot of money, especially if you want to help people and better people, because you also run a food place as well, like for food.
Yeah.
There's a lot of teaching can be done on the internet too.
Oh yeah. That's in the plan.
Oh, is
That's
it?
it.
Good,
Yes,
good,
yes.
good, good, good. Yeah, I was going to sort of push you that way, Even doing stuff like this, it's not, you don't need this to do it. But that's that. You vegans coming along well then.
Yeah, absolutely. We just actually got the approval for the new kitchen, so we're gonna have a stable place. It's just ours.
Wow.
It's in Tuart Hill and in the Tuart College, and we just got the approval like 2 days ago.
Oh, well done.
Which is thank you. It's a big step. I mean, we were renting kitchen or doing some stuff at home, but I like to do things properly. So and that's my mindset. My family taught me to how to be like that, and so that's going to be a big step. And the goal is to actually we started from 1 day a week because one of the principles for us was, okay, we're going to cook everything from whole foods, plant-based, fresh in the morning. You're going to have it delivered fresh, cooked in the evening. That's it. 1 day.
I read that and I'm like, how the hell do you guys do that? How the hell do you guys do that?
But it would be easier if you freeze some stuff, you get some processed food. But that's not what I want to share. I mean, I don't eat like that. I eat like you vegan. So, and that has to be what I want to, what I share with people.
Well
Thanks.
done. So, does Silvia compete as well?
Not yet.
Oh, is she planning on?
I'm trying to convince her, but I think, again, one of her principles that comes first is family.
Yeah, sure.
And she wants something else first.
Sure.
So
it's very hard as an athlete. I've got a friend that was on this podcast who was a pro boxer. Her name was Kyla. And she wanted to eventually have a family, but it took a year for her body to get back in order to be ready to have a baby, because athletes can really torture their body, pro athletes. Yeah. So, but she's turned that into her business now.
Yes.
So she's helping athletic women train for pregnancy.
Wow.
And training through pregnancy with diet as well. So she's actually got a friend that's helping her do, the food plans, and they're helping people do that. But it came from a personal objective of, look what I've done to my body. I've enjoyed what I've done, but I want to have a family now. Yeah. And I can't just fall pregnant because her body wasn't that way, And just learning about that journey for her. So, I can understand Sylvia's sort of going, look, I wouldn't mind a family coming through. Because she's still quite young, isn't she?
Yes, she's 26.
Yeah. So the pressure's coming on, man. The pressure's on to have that. So listen, if people do want to contact you, where can they find you?
Oh, well, my Instagram, which is the Yoga 101.
The Yoga 101. Why Yoga?
And why 101?
Yeah, why 101?
So the Yoga, actually I got this question asked during my last week, I think, because I posted some stories with, ask me something. And this guy asked me, why the Yoga? The thing is, my dream in a way was to scare my opponents in the backstage. So just from, taking my clothes off, they had to go mild drop and say, what?
Right.
So there was probably a picture of some, mythical figure that was scary. So I thought, why not the Yoga? I like that.
I like how you've said that, but before you were like, when I went backstage, it was so nice and people were helping you. There was no intimidation. No, the Yoga. I want to take off my shit and scare the hell out of everyone.
But in a good way.
Psychologically, have that psychological edge over,
Yeah. And 101 actually is because I consider myself 101% natural. Because during the off seasons, especially when I have more availability in terms of calories, I don't need even protein supplements. I don't use anything, just food. And
something to be proud of.
Well, I don't actually trust, powders or anything that is not actually coming from the earth. So
you don't take powders or anything?
I do when I'm during the prep. So if
Right.
I'm down to, let's say, 2,000 calories a day, which sounds all right, but for me, it's really low, honestly, because maintenance are about 3,500 calories just to
Right,
maintain. Again, so when I'm dropping my calories that low, I need something to increase the protein level of my daily food intake, but I don't need something to increase carbs or the macros, right? So
Sure.
that's the best way, the easiest way, I would say, also to do that.
And your body is quite dehydrated before comp, right? You've got to lose all the water retention.
Not really. I tried that experience as well. It didn't work.
Oh, is that right?
What happens that the body it's got its own system to balance that out. So it's called homeostasis. That's the state in which your body wants to go back. So human body is made to survive. It doesn't like to change. So when you do something really drastic, like, okay, not going to drink, I'm going to manipulate my sodium and other stuff like that, which is actually pretty dangerous. The body will try to go back to its natural state. So
Right.
let's say I have less sodium, so I release water, right? And then, so basically what you do, you don't drink and have
Right.
more sodium.
So you counteract that sort of...
But that type of thing lasts for maybe a couple of hours. And usually athletes complain, oh, I was looking so much better the day after when I had my cheat meal. And that's because you reintroduced sodium and then more liquids.
Okay.
And then most of the, actually the whole size, the whole fullness of the muscles comes from glycogen that keeps water inside the muscle fiber. So you look fuller, you look like bigger, and like when you have more water in your body, because it stays in the muscles.
Yeah, true.
So no, I don't do that. I was actually drinking normally. Obviously, you don't want to have your stomach bloated when you're on stage. Yeah. But apart from that, so you maybe drop down fiber content of your food. Don't drink like a liter of water just before you step on stage.
Sure, just common sense.
Yeah,
common sense. So before we go, what advice do you give youngsters coming in now into your game, into the athletic competition level bodybuilding? What's one piece of advice you'd give them?
Okay, you have to have a vision. You have to know who you want to become. And it has to be really yours. It's your dreams. You wake up, you breathe it, you go to sleep, you think it's an obsession. There's no greatness without the obsession. You might be encountering, like obstacles, naysayers. People are going to do, why would you do that? Why you eat like that? Why you live like that? What's the point? It doesn't matter. It has to be important for you. It's not to show off something. It's because it makes you happy. And that's the only thing that's going to pull you. So that goal is going to pull you. You don't need something to push you towards something,
sure,
but you just need to look at that thing consistently every single day.
And finally, everyone has to start from somewhere.
From somewhere. That's right.
Well, thanks, man, for coming on. Thanks so much for coming on. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Bye.